Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Austin, in the 2022 budget, the nuclear modernization efforts is adequately funded, both the GBSD and the LRSO. I understand the administration wants to do a nuclear posture review. Two questions in regard to that. Will that be completed prior to the determinations in the 2023 budget as far as upgrading the nuclear mission? And also, will you commit that it will be done with an eye toward the escalation of both Russia and particularly China in terms of their overall military and certainly in terms of their nuclear capabilities?
Our plan is to complete the review within the next year or so, yes, to answer your question. And the second question is, absolutely, we'll take into consideration the current threats and emerging threats as we do the review.
Would the existing U.S. strategic deterrent remain credible if China fielded forces twice the size they have today?
I think we have to look at deterrence. To answer that question, yes. Yeah, our intent is to remain credible no matter what. And so the purpose of the review is to make sure that we have the right capabilities in place to counter any threat presented by China, Russia, or whomever.
And would you agree that the efficacy and strength of our conventional forces is necessarily buttressed by having an adequate nuclear deterrent that equals or exceeds that of our major adversaries?
Yeah, our nuclear triad has been the bedrock of our deterrence effort for many years, and it will continue to be so in the future. So the answer to that question, Senator, is yes.
General Milley, I'd ask you essentially the same question.
Yeah. First, the answer is yes. Now and in the future. If we continue to fully modernize the triad, then the U.S. nuclear strategic deterrent is fully adequate to deter any adversary, to include China, even if China doubled what they have right now. There's no question in my mind. But deterrence, as you know, requires not only the capability and the will, but also the communication that your adversary needs to understand that you have the capability and the will. So all of that together, it's a complicated piece there, but all of it together, I'm very confident that our nuclear systems, once modernized and fully modernized, today they're adequate, and I think once modernized, they'll be adequate in the future. The conventional piece, the nuclear piece and the conventional piece go hand in hand, and it's a dynamic that works in order to keep great power peace. And it's very important that we retain overmatch relative to China and or Russia, but specifically now we're talking China, into the future. And in combination, those two in combination will keep us at a level of competition, and we won't be able to, or we won't get from competition into conflict. And that's a critical thing as we go to the future.
Do you support helping Israel replenish its missile defense following the recent attacks by Hamas?
Do I support that?
Yes.
That's a policy question about whether we should support. We have the capability to do it. And I think it's a policy question as to whether we do.
Then I would ask Secretary Austin.
Absolutely. We remain committed to supporting the defense of Israel.
General Milley, does the 22 budget request provide you with the tools you need to compete in the Arctic region, particularly with the focus that both Russia and China are putting on the Arctic region?
I think it does for right now and for the period of time of the budget. But the Arctic is going to become increasingly important geostrategically, and we see that already with some activities that both Russia and China are doing in the Arctic. So as the Arctic ice melts and resources become more available, et cetera, there's going to be increased competition in the Arctic in the years to come. So I think that this budget does for the immediate future, which is what this budget does. But as you go into the future, that remains to be seen. We're going to have to continue and probably increase resourcing for the Arctic in the future.
The final question is are there other things that we should be doing vis-a-vis Taiwan to help ensure its defense?
You wanted to say something,
sir? We are committed to Taiwan's ability to defend itself, and in accordance with Taiwan Relations Act and 3 joint communiques and 6 assurances. So we're doing a lot now to help them be able to defend themselves, and we'll continue to do that in the future.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.